So when we see that exponent, it's telling us how many times the base is being multiplied with itself. And that's how we simplify expressions with exponents. We multiply the base that many times. But what if we have an expression that's like 2 to the 50th power? That means we have 50 2's multiplied together. Do we really want to write all of that out and simplify, or even type all of those 2's into a calculator? We could, but we don't have to. Scientific calculators and phone calculators have a button that works the exponent for us. We just need the base and the exponent. Though it is good to understand what that button is doing, we can use it to make our work a little simpler. So let's look at a few examples where we're simplifying and evaluating these expressions with exponents. As we discussed, there's a couple ways that you could do that, right? You could write it all out, okay, if you wanted to, or you can use a calculator. There may be some where you know it really well and you don't have to use a calculator or write it out, like 2 to the 2nd power. I know that's 4 because that's 2 times 2. I can do that real quick. I've done that a lot. But there may be some where it's helpful to definitely use the calculator, especially if there's a larger exponent. Okay? So like on this first one, number 5, 2 to the 8th power. So as we said, and probably don't write this out, I'm just going to show you. 2 to the 8th power is 2 times 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 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So that's what 2 to the 8th power is, right? 2 multiplied 8 times. Okay? 2 times 2 times 2, and all those 2's multiplied together. Now I don't want to have to write all of them out. Okay? And I could, right? I could then, write them all out and then go, well, 2 times 2 is 4, there's another 4, there's another 4, there's another 4, and then multiply each of those. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16, and so on and so on. And then I'm multiplying 16 times 16. Well, I could do that. We don't have to. You have a calculator. Okay? So, not going to do this. We're going to go to our calculator and use our exponent button to help us do this. Okay? So 2 to the 8th power. How would we do that on a calculator? If you're using a standard scientific calculator, here's how you're going to evaluate exponents. First, you need to put in your base. So let's say we're doing 2 to the 5th power. So I put 2, that's my base. And then if I'm raising it to the 5th power, then I'm going to use this button here. It looks like an upside down V or an upwards arrow. The name for it is actually the caret. Okay? So we'll hit the caret button, and then you see it pop up there on the screen, and then I'll hit my exponent, 5. Okay? So this is 2 to the 5th power. I hit enter, I get 32. And I could do that for any number. Make sure though, if you're doing negatives, you put it in parentheses. So if I was doing -2, parentheses, to the 5th power, I would want to make sure to keep that -2 in parentheses and not get -32. Notice the difference in the answers there. If you're using your phone for a calculator and you turn it sideways, this is most likely what it's going to look like. And you can use the exponent here as well. So again, if I was doing 2 to the 5th power, I would hit 2, and then the exponent button is here where it says xy. Hit that button, and then I would hit my exponent, 5. Hit enter at 32. So again, you start with your base, hit the exponent button, and then hit your exponent. Again, if I was doing negatives, I would want to put it in parentheses. So parentheses, 2, and make that negative, close parentheses, and then I'll hit the exponent button, raise to the 5th power, equals -32. So again, this x to the y, that is your exponent button. So you hit your base, and then your exponent button, and then your exponent. And so after using our calculator, we get 256. 256. And that's 2 to the 8th power. All right, so same thing for number 6, -8 to the 3rd power. Okay. Again, we could write that out as -8 times -8 times -8. And this one isn't too tough because there's only 3 of them. But we can also use a calculator for this. But you want to be careful. Okay? You want to be careful because you want to use the parentheses on the calculator because you've got that negative, right? The negatives can make it a little tricky sometimes. So make sure to put parentheses around your -8. If there's parentheses in your expression, like -8 in parentheses to the third power, you need to make sure you're putting the -8 in parentheses on your calculator as well, or else you might get a little confused. Another thing that you could try to remember is that when you are taking something to an odd exponent, okay, if you have a negative number taken to an odd number exponent, your final answer will be negative. Okay? So if you have a negative number taken to an odd number exponent, then your final answer will be negative. So -8 to the third power is -518. Okay? -518. -8 times -8 times -8. Number 7, 5 to the first power. So to the first power, that means we just have one 5. Okay? So that means we just have one 5, and so that's just 5. 5 to the first power is just 5. Didn't even need my calculator for that. All right, number 8. Number 8 looks a little different, right? 3 to the 0 power. What does that mean? I see a 3 there, but it's saying 0, so that means I have 0 3s. Well, yeah, that's right. You're multiplying 0 3s. So you don't have actually any 3s. So what that means is anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay? Anything to the 0 power is 1. Now, you'll talk about that a little bit more in algebra and maybe get into why that is. But what you can just remember now is that 3 to the 0 power is equal to 1. Okay? So anything. It could be 1,466,703. To the 0 power is 1. Okay? Anything to the 0 power is 1. All right, last one. -4 to the 10th power. Okay, so again, that -4 is in parentheses, a raised to the 10th power. So if you're putting this in your calculator, make sure to put the parentheses around your -4 and then raise it to the 10th power. Okay, so be careful with that. And just like on number 6, where we had a negative raised to an odd, and that ends us with a negative, here we have a negative raised to an even number. A negative raised to an even number exponent means our final answer is going to be positive. Okay? A negative number raised to an even number exponent means the final answer is going to be positive. So -4 to the 10th power, we use our calculator, it's going to be 1,048,576. 1,048,576, right? It's a good thing that we used a calculator for that because that would have been a lot to multiply to get to 1 million. Okay, so that would have been -4 10 times. That would have been a lot of multiplying. All right, so we can use the calculator for these exponents, and we should. But this is how we evaluate them, right? So we take -4 times -4 times -4 all that time, and we can use the calculator to help us do that to make that a little simpler. You will see and work with exponents a lot in this class, and so we want to make sure you understand them and are comfortable with them. Otherwise, you'll be like, IDK, WTF, FML, and that's not helpful. Although I was wondering if we could come up with an abbreviation for math class. I was thinking maybe like DTM, do the math, DTM, do the math. You know, if we all use it, it'll catch on. You know, like, what are we doing right now? DTM. How do I do this? DTM. What just happened? DTM. Get back to me if you have other ideas.